come true. Find your dreams come true. And no one can take it. Find your dreams come true.
Bata Bata is the name of the dance we do down Johannesburg way. Hit it! And everybody starts to move as soon as Bata Bata starts to play.
Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon. Actually, is probably a better way of putting it. This is Crossy here with you for MetriX Esports here on the YouTube channel, and this is going to be a fun one. Nova League contest between the two teams that can't spell things correctly. MetriX and Exzit Esports, respectively, squaring off against each other here in the Nova League. So a little bit of a last-minute thing. I just found out which competition this is in, and I'll certainly try and grab some further information on that as we get into it. But for me personally, over a year since I've done anything with MetriX Esports, and it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment as I get used to some of the players again and what looks like an adjusted lineup. Here on Vertigo as well, which is an interesting map. Certainly don't play this anywhere near as much as I probably should. Still a lot of things to learn on it. Generally, Vertigo involves me buying an AWP and failing to do anything with it, which is a shame. Hopefully we won't see that, though, from the home team here today, as we've got Exit on the T side first of all after the knife round. Going to try and make their way pretty quick into B. They've got spotted all the way, walking into a crossfire, but the silenced USP's not really on point apart from Pascal, who's tapped away on two heads already, trying to get another with his teammate Yols now coming in to back up. Yols is hanging a little too far back though, really. Should get in and try and help his teammate out a little bit in this situation. Really nice shot as the two remaining players, one for each team, try and tap away at each other with just under 50 seconds left to play on the clock in this first round. Bomb plant should come in fairly safely. That's one thing that will work for us. Azure going to go all the way around, the long way underneath towards A. Or at least we're thinking about it anyway. If he hears the pitter-patter footsteps behind him, then maybe he would have turned around and taken the fight. So just going to hold off and now wrap his way back towards B. Yols seems like he's more than equal to that. So for these guys, they'll be trying to do it with the pistols rather than fight for the bomb plant with 10 seconds now ticking away. So on Azure to make something happen, of course. And he's going to try and stick the bomb plant and will be able to. As Yols does hunt him down, last man standing, picks up the defuse, and MetriX Omni will be putting their first round on the board. A little critical of Yols for not getting himself into the bomb site as quickly as we would have liked, while Pascal's tapping away and doing some damage. Also, I guess MetriX got good information early that the push was coming in from short A, but maybe could have done a little more damage as well considering the crossfire that they had set up, but nothing too much to worry about. They've got that first round on the board as we see Yols with the scout in hand. Going to have a little peek towards the A ramp. Doesn't come away with the tag. But good information early doors. Something I've learned from watching Vertigo recently is that teams seem to be a lot more aggressive over towards the ramp side on CT. Maybe a little too aggressive for my liking, as Yols pings a flash over just to help his teammate have a look. And generally the information they're getting is that there is nothing now over towards the A ramp. CT is moving above on that information from Yorick as Wacko ready to ping a nade or some utility in towards the back stairs over towards the B site. Two players there waiting to receive him if he overextends, and I think they'll probably move quite quickly into the bomb site, get pushed away from that though, as we come back to about 45 seconds left to go on the clock in this second round. Nobody really committing too much as they now get themselves in towards short B. Tapping away, Yols gets forced back with the scout. There's not much he can really do against a couple of scrub rifles. That's going to allow them to now make their way in. Pascal gets one. He's doing good in these early exchanges. He's picked up both of the players coming in from his direction, and Wacko drops away actually into the bomb site, feeling the pressure coming in from stairs. And they're able to clean up. For Exit, they have the opportunity, with Wacko being pretty up close with them in the stairs. If they had fully committed to that and they'd gone first, may have been able to catch him. Instead, the first push came in from the window area where Pascal was able to grab himself a couple. pushing the stairs was too slow, allowed for Wacko to get himself back into the bomb site, back into relative safety. That's going to be the second one on the board. Tried to get aggressive though, didn't really need to do that. And Luke, he's got fallen. He's dropped one of his guns as well. That Molotov's doing a good bit of splash damage, but is still the guns that are doing the job. Wacko gets one and then swings back towards the stairs. Just didn't have the firepower, that player that he picked up from that position. Still another retake going to be needed. As Flap doing good damage with the Galil. Probably the Galil that got dropped actually in the very early part of the round. Yol's going to try and pick up another one. Gets one of those two frags that he needs. Isn't able to spray transfer across to the second. Little Tard using the facilities to good effect. And that is going to be the first round on the board for Exit Esports Benelux. Heavy questions being asked about that YOLO push out from the B site. No real need to engage that far in, and Luke, we see him going for it again. Now, maybe he has the weapon where he needs to get up close and use his CQB skills. 200% kill bonus with that gun that he's got in his hand as well, so it would be quite useful for the CT economy, which you always feel can be a struggle. Flaport picks up a frag. Interesting, the origin of that name. That you're so desperate to report the guy that you're flapping away at your button. Pascal again doing serious damage again to the AK player. Yol's going to be first to engage as Luke does get himself aggressive, managed to get himself a weapon upgrade out of that as well, actually, as it is a 2v2. It's me with the AWP over towards B side. So he's going to have to come in and grab it. Tard walking around with the AK, does get the frag on Yols. That's the second on Pascal as well, as we see the score drop to an even 2-2. For everyone really, casters and players alike, the chance just to get back into the swing of things as Flap gets himself 2, make it 3, make it 4. On for the ace as he goes for the effectively the eco bash. And he's going to get his man, you would have thought. And does, waking up with a tasty 5-man. Now, how it comes and the guns that your opponents have in hand kind of plays secondary in a situation like that. It's a good way to boost your economy, boost your score. Something you can certainly feel happy about going into the later stages of the game. Flap trying to spam through. I think they've managed to get someone from that spot. There's a couple of spots really on this map where you can do some good damage. Spamming through the environment. You're maybe going to be first to get engaged by Little Tard. That's the problem. There's only a finite number of angles that you can hold for. And these players will practice being able to make picks from those positions. So you're able to find Luke. Made plenty of noise, but Didn't follow that up with any real damage as we have a 4v2 over towards the B site. Exzit Esports starting to get themselves in the driving seat a little bit. They're finding things that are working for them. Not so much over towards A yet. I think they've got a little more exploring they can go for over towards the A site. Haven't tested it too much. And we have it 4-2. Couple of weapons retrieved. Yols with the AWP, as MetriX are probably going to buy themselves up around. In fact, they haven't. Keeping the economy pretty balanced. Everyone down to about 2k regardless of what happens here. Luke trying to get himself safe. Is just about able to. Doesn't really get much information out of that either. He is then traded out by the AWPer as well. Massive overkill for a guy on 12 HP, but we'll take it. Luke's playing Vertigo like he doesn't know how to play Vertigo right now. Little Tard picks up Yorick. That's been too aggressive to try and get information. No, he only had Deegan hand, so it wasn't, you know, a huge issue in the grand scheme of things. But, you know, just general players. Wacko, nice little flick on Little Tard. That's going to be a good angle for him to come in from. And Yols makes a tasty little flick shot of his own with the AWP up on scaffold, peeking into the B site. Winnable situation. Sure, trying to spam through. That's not a spam spot and just gives his position away. To Flap, who's sitting close. Going to allow these guys now to basically set up the crossfire. If Wacko carried on that path, he may be able to get behind, catch both of them unawares. I said, no, going to go for the save. 2v1 in that situation, you can put one on the walkway and one up towards ramp. You can both go onto the ramp and then trade. Go 1-for-1 trade. And there's no real easy situation, and the only option you really have is save or just get in and engage. I think if anything, I'd prefer to have them both on the same angle, both from ramp in that situation. Got at least a chance of being able to spray transfer from one to the other. It's tough when the time's ticking to try and then hunt out the second guy. It's better to have as much information as you can in that situation. And we've got our first casualty. Our first workplace incident. Pascal forgot his parachute. It's unfortunate. Seconds left to go. Time pretty much dictates a full commit into the B site. They've been slowed up nicely by MetriX utility. Players now coming on the rotate, trying to set up a crossfire. Yols and Luke doing some good work, but Yuri's able to grab Luke in the end. That's going to allow him to get control of the bomb site and yam this bomb plant down with 20 seconds still left to spare. The orb's going to be a problem. Yorick standing in fire as well as he tries to get himself in towards the bomb site and help his teammate out. And 2 players, one on each side, lacking the maneuverability really, as Flap still has a Molotov in hand. Able to go for the trade-off on the remaining guy. And still, Exit's run continues. I think that's 6 on the spin for them now. Plenty of bullets raining down as Yorick able to find one. Over towards A side, just showing himself early onto the ramp. Nice for MetriX to feel like they're in the driving seat a little bit. The first time in a while, really, where they've had numbers in their favour. So have to be cautious about the push, though. Wouldn't put it past Exit to be able to work their way in towards B steps, for example. Sure, they've got all the utility to deal with that as such. Little tart manages to find Yols. Just playing in the lurk, trying to catch the rotate. Azur, nice entry as well on Pascal. They've got the info on the second guy in that angle, and Azur able to make it count. The spray control looked terrible on my screen, but that sort of thing, it doesn't always look the same in the server. The pause now comes in. Mako under heavy pressure as Azur picks up the hat trick. Even Luke, last man standing. Go retrieve the AWP and try and keep hold of it. As Exit win themselves 7 straight. They'll look at the scoreboard, see who's performing so far. So Flap doing a good job. He's 12 and 4, heavily helped by the 5K eco bash that he picked up earlier on in this contest. Aside from that, things pretty evenly spread across the scoreboard for both teams. In fact, you know, no one particularly dragging their side down in terms of numbers. A couple of maybe questionable pushes. On the MetriX side in particular, overextending a little too much, that has allowed Exit the opportunity to get themselves into this game. And from what I can tell of Vertigo so far, there are some angles where you can just wander into a bomb site, particularly over towards the B side. And there's a couple of opportunities where you can just pop yourself in there. Just walking past. Actually, from that little window when you walk up through the stairs, you can go all the way in, and that gives you a route left into the bomb site or right in towards A. You know, since the general setup on the A side is to play quite far up into the bomb site and challenge at the ramp area rather than be passive on it. You know, there is the opportunity to catch 1 or 2 players unaware and from behind in that situation. In contrast over towards B, MetriX have been fairly passive on it, which has made it easier to get in from the stairs, etc. They've had a good crossfire from the window, but that all falls apart if one of the players in that area decides to just yeet off somewhere else and and try and get a glory frag or two. I am, of course, not surprised that maybe teams haven't put too much time into Vertigo, myself included, to be honest. You know, I tend to enjoy playing some of the lesser played maps, the trains and the nukes. Remind me of the good old days of Source. And those used to just be bread and butter maps. As Pascal with the dig, again having to try and make something happen, but leaving the relative safety of the bomb site to try and just make it happen. I think the more I watch this, the more I'd prefer to just leave that angle open if possible. Luke gets one. They've got a nice setup on that now with the rifle player close as well. So if the AWP does miss, or actually try and deal with that with a flash and push. Chance to spray down at least a couple. And they've switched up for a more passive approach now. In towards the A site where the bomb plant does come down. Chance for a retake, 4v4, Yols gets nailed by Robbie from the left-hand side, able to just get information through the smoke. Able to trade off from there. Yorick, after he missed that first dig, was pretty much doomed on the second one. Yorick able to get the kill, but nothing more from it. There's to try and retrieve a weapon from the bomb site. Nothing doing on that front. So we guys taking Vertigo's version of the dozier spot to avoid the damage from the bomb. 8-2 T side from them. Double AWP setup on CT side. Now, if there is ever a way to try and get out of this situation that they find themselves in, the double AWP probably wouldn't have been my first choice, especially on Vertigo. Yorick, I think, already feeling a bit of pressure over towards the ramp, falling away, trying to spam through the metal and make something happen from there. Again, right idea, wrong execution. He'll have to do something, otherwise it's leaving his teammate Yols pretty exposed. He does have rifle support with him, as Pascal now needs to come in and assist. They've got Molotovs to try and slow down his push as much as possible, but this needs to be an opportunity to wrap in from behind rather than just sit and wait for it to come and hope for the best. Luke now gambling. First time really, that's worked out well for him. Yols with the AWP. Actually, I think pretty fully committed to this A push, still hanging around ramp. So pushing back. Just trying to make noise. Flush them out as Azur comes in with the spray down, gets two. Caught in the crossfire as Yols drops the bomb. 20 seconds left to go. Luke manages to find one through the smoke in the cross. Has the information on the second guy. Walks all the way through into the no-scope with the AWP. 10 seconds left to go. Yols gets taken down as well by It's Me. Comes pushing through with the dig. Wacko able to bring it home in the close quarters AWP. Time still would have been an issue there as well, but yeah, a little swing. 180 with the deagle. Find a little headshot to keep the run going. Would have been tasty. Some ball with Wacko again. He's got Luke below him. Catch up with that as Wacko falls away. Is Luke now pretty exposed, catching utility. Yeah, best him ever to get one or two. In the end, he gets absolutely nothing. No, just get one actually. Fair play. More than I thought he was going to get in that situation, but now bomb site's been opened up like a tin of beans. Now try and make their way into it. Little reset, it's going to cause real problems for the CT economy. He also, I think, is aware of the action from behind. Yorick's still punching, trying to make something happen, but he'd already left the bomb site. That was a wrap from behind, which is exactly what Flaps should be able to pick up close, and does. Grabs the AWP. All guns dropped out of the MetriX hand. They could force a buy if they wanted. It won't be a very good one. It's going to put pay to any chance of them winning the next round. Yorick's gone for the buy. That strikes me as a panic buy rather than from a call, to be honest. And the rest of the team have had to try and cobble something together. Probably why we're seeing MPs and a FAMAS. They'd already committed to utility buys. I could be wrong, of course. This could be all part of the plan. Just struck me as a impulse buy from a team that have really struggled to get anything going on the CT side so far. Nice work from Azure opening things up. That's on Luke again, surprise, surprise. Let's go with it all to do. Pinging off as much utility as he can. Two A-side players just falling away. Both of them crossing into a risky area, into a trail of AK bullets to try and get themselves to safety. They do exactly that. Down goes Yorick. Robbie with his second. It's me with the third. Yols drops away to try and save. Force comes in with 2 rounds left to go. Too little too late, I would suggest. Just get on with it. Buy down to about 2k. Go for a full spend into the next. Would be my play anyway. Grab yourself some utility. Upgraded pistol, just try and slow them up as much as you can. And take another look at the scoreboard, and to be honest, it's relatively the same reading as before. Flap with his early boost leading the charge. Everyone else fairly even. Pascal's maybe fallen off a little bit from a couple of very strong early rounds. I think his position now shifting more into the bomb site rather than getting involved in some of the setup play has limited his effectiveness a little bit. He's kind of just been left having to absorb the pressure. And so we wait for the time to tick away on this timeout. Hopefully MetriX have had a little chat to themselves and mainly got ready for the second half to try and bring something home. But thank you very much for watching this afternoon. This is Crossy here with you for the MetriX Esports YouTube channel. Been a while since there's been any action on the channel, but Looking forward to bringing that back, and Counter-Strike in general is now coming back. ESCA Season 37 will be underway as of tomorrow. I think the first fixtures are kicking off. Plenty of good stuff that we'll be able to watch. I'm going to cover as much as I can, so if you'll follow me on Twitter at mcrossy12, you can keep in touch with any games that I'm covering either on my own channel or elsewhere, as It's Me goes in huge with the AWP. I think that's Yuri or something like that, but I'm only going to butcher it, so It's Me for the rest of the game, especially when you're trying to say it fast. So again, finding it relatively easy to wander in towards the A site. It's a fairly passive two-man setup. You can usually have the numbers advantage work in both angles. Robbie's going to shepherd the bomb. Flap will want to get that gun at hand if he can, and does before the final round, but judging by the economy, MetriX can get everything they could possibly want in for this last round. Final opportunity. Over on the right-hand side, after a full spend, you've still got players 5k, 7k. Disposable income, literally throwing assets off the side of the building. They are just that bougie, these T-side. 3 men over towards the ramp. Doing a bit of splash damage through the smoke. Pleased with that, but now I have to fall away. Once the smoke dissipates, they're a little more exposed. One shot kill. If you get a headshot from either one of those AKs. Eric finds one for his eventually trade out. That's gone well. Trades in favour of the CT. They'll be pleased with that. Hasn't been too many of those, which I think is a big reason why they've struggled so much in this first half. Fourth round gives them something to work with, at least. Got to be careful though of Azuras. I think he's getting himself into a position where he could do some serious damage. So I know the engagement will be at the ramp, but oh! Nice work from Luke, needed to make that frag, or he had 3 players lined up there for him. And MetriX fully committing, deciding that the push was going to come over towards the A site, put everyone in position, and that worked quite well. I guess if there was 2, one would have sat in Luke's position looking from behind. And that cover still would have been there, but if there is 2 and one's looking away, puts a lot of pressure on the guy watching ramp to be on point and to find the face. And generally find several faces, actually. It's tough enough when you've only got a few pixels of a head to aim at popping up onto the ramp. But if you then have to move your mouse across to get another guy in a similar position, or maybe on the walkway above the ramp, a player swinging to try and get the refrag. Certainly difficult. I've always played on quite a high sensitivity as well, so even more so. And things like that, it's a trade-off. You can be more effective, more responsive close quarters, but that's when you need that precision from range, when sometimes it's a little bit of a lucky guess, really. So we have an early timeout from the Exit side before we get ready into the second half. I feel like if they can hold pistol here, it's pretty much all she wrote. That's never say never. And on the T side, you can make your economy stretch a lot further. It remains to be seen if Exit are going to do anything a little silly and stretch a little too far and drop guns into the hands of their opponents in the early goings of this match. Or this second half, anyway. Final seconds count away. As MetriX Esports try and build something into this second half. T-side now, let's see what they got. Now they're fragging well, fragging comparatively well compared to their opponents on the server. See if they can make that translate. So far, not so much as Robbie finds one. Little Todd will be getting the sound cues, giving some sound cues of his own. So he's going to try and just slow up as much as he can. Wait for assistance to come in, and in the end they have driven those MetriX players all the way off of the bomb site and away. And they're going to try and take control of this mid area. Niltard's going to come back and try and assist Yorick and Wacko. Double push from the window, nicely done. And now the stairs players come in as well. Full site control, should be able to deal with this quite comfortably. Pascal gets one. Niltard we saw over from the B site. Their position probably known. Let's get one. Three still to find. No such luck on that front. Pascal manages to find Little Tard. Nicely done. It's Flap smashing away. Manages to get two in pretty quick succession. Brings it back even. Moving in fast as well. Towards the A site, waiting for assistance. Couple of MAC-10s have been retrieved. Two players go down quick. Robbie comes in with the swing. MetriX starting to put things together in the right way here. Making a few things happen early doors. They seem much faster to commit on this T side. Which actually I don't mind. So they go for it. Wacko gets one, gets a second. Maybe has the information on the third guy. Definitely will now as Robbie tries to retrieve himself an AK and does exactly that. Yoel's going to try and catch him. Does manage to tap away on Robbie, who's already down to about 30 points of health, I think. It must have been Yoels that was doing the damage on him. 4v2 in favour of MetriX as they try and put their third on the spin on the board. Trying to hunt down. It's a grand's worth of armour sitting on both of these players. 7-11, first buy v buy. It's where the real work begins. The MetriX, if they want to find any way back into this game. Has that been the perfect opportunity for them as Pascal first to fall up against the AWP. Manages to find one. Flap spraying away. Hits me with the no scope. No messing around. Manages to find Yols. Wiggle peeking away towards the bottom of the ramp. But if you're trying to wiggle peek and you're showing your whole body the whole time, limited effectiveness on that front. She's trying to work over from the steps. Nothing happening there. So Exit playing quite deep into the bomb site, so someone could peek themselves up into a window and set up the pincer movement that way. That would have worked, but Wacko now gets lit down to about 15 points of health. Very limited effectiveness for him there. Until gets one for he's traded out though. They have control of the bomb site with about 15 seconds left to play with, and that plant does now come down. 3v4 against, but retake does need to come in. Robbie finds Yorick, who couldn't get himself safe before the smoke dissipated. Two players left now over towards the ramp. And they've got the manpower. They can't just stick this defuse if they want to. Flap on the swing, tries to get one. Luke on the ramp, but again, Flap is there on the swing. Having to shoot two players effectively in the back as he puts the 20 bomb on the board there as well. Nice work from him as Exit. And they got in a winning run. They collected rounds like they were going out of style. Seems like the same can be said again here now. Go. Pretty full send. Robbie Azur, Robbie again. Azur does go down. Numbers against MetriX again. Wacko's position known, allows the AWPer to come in. These guys working as a complete unit. If he's stuck, you're going to try and drop a couple of guns out of hand. Does drop one, to be fair. Good economic damage being done. And you can see on the CT side, even though they've won a couple of rounds on the spin and kept some guns alive on those opportunities as well. You know, they've got very little cash left to go, and Robbie has to stick himself with the MP instead. Try and get himself maybe into a close quarters angle. 200% kill bonus if he can make anything happen with that gun. And the temptation is always to do a Luke and try and yeet it down the stairs, but I think MetriX will be aware of that. You see they're keeping their AK safe. They go full stack over towards the stairs. Pretty much showing that hand with the utility, so they have to make this stick as Azul walks in through the smoke, finds one right up in his grill. Does get one before he's now traded out. Yols and Pascal with a frag apiece. Yols maybe thinking about pushing. That could have worked well for him. In the end, they have to fall out. Reset a little bit as Robbie comes to walk through. Notard firing back. MetriX still numbers in their favour. 3-2 with the bomb plant. And these remaining two CTs, you know, feeling the pressure of that economy. Are going to fall themselves away. MetriX very much in... No, other way around. Exzit Esports very much in the driving seat. Just 2 rounds away from victory. Don't have to rush. Going for upgraded pistols to just try and support the 2 weapons they're able to save. Flap ends up in a skirmish, but only able to drop Wacko down to about 37 points of health. You just have to nail your Deeg headshot and finish him off, otherwise you're in trouble against automatic weapons. Exactly what we saw there. The Deeg does find one, brings it back even. Robbie also with the Deeg. Nice work using these scrub guns to effect. They've got the wrap from behind Robbie, and it's me. Robbie gets 2 from the ramp with the AK in hand. That's going to be 3 for him in total so far, as it's me cleans up the remaining player as well. That's the draw guaranteed. I haven't checked the format actually. It wouldn't be the first time that I've got this wrong, but I don't know if we see overtime or if it does just go down as a draw. But MetriX staring down the barrel. Up in hand, couple of MAC-10s. And maybe for that MAC-10s, they could get a surprise, just a YOLO push somewhere fast with them. Maybe up towards stairs, see what sort of damage they can do from there. And we're seeing that Exit tends to play quite deep into the bomb site over towards B. Robbie finds one though on Yols. Luke fires back with the AK. As the AWP actually that got dropped and see if anyone else on the MetriX side is comfortable enough to maybe grab that for the later stages. They are going to be reliant, if they want to make it work on this A site, for the rifles to make something happen first before the ult can be effective. And now Yorick does exactly that as they get site control, they get the bomb plant, and they get one of those frags they need. A little Tard, nice work, gets one. Taken down to 4 points of health, probably going to go down in the fire, you would have thought. But now they're getting some hot toes, but just about managed to stand at safety. Good information coming in. Little Tard gets another. That's a hat-trick frag from there as well. Going to stick the defuse as Flap cleans up the last man. That's going to be GG, 16-8. And Exit Esports end up grabbing the win in the end. And pretty much following the pattern of the whole game that we witnessed there in the end, I think. Let's just jump back to here real quick as we wrap up. So it's been entertaining to watch. I think some mistakes were made, particularly on the MetriX side, on their CT approach, overextending a little too much, and definitely some lessons that could be learned on that front in terms of being patient and just keeping it pretty tight in terms of your setup. We saw a few times for the Exit guys where, because they kept themselves in towards the bomb site, over towards B, it meant they then had the numbers to come in to work together as a unit on these retakes. Bit of individual brilliance from Little Tard in that final round, and you do need a bit of that as well. But as long as you have enough players left alive, you can make retakes on both of these bomb sites, and the angles are there, allowing you to have that access. If you're talking B site on Dust 2, for example, you don't really have that. There's only two ways in. So if you don't have any kind of control on those or utility, you can really struggle to make anything happen. But Vertigo gives you some more options on that front. They kept enough players left alive to be able to make solid attempts on that retake, and I think generally looked the better on CT's side. The MetriX, some positives. They were fragging well. And no one was particularly dragging the side down on that front and staying competitive. And maybe with their faster play and some of the picks that they were making on T's side, if they had a few more rounds to play with, they could have certainly made it very close, or if nothing else, even managed to bring the game home. But I think they can look at a few swing rounds on CT's side, and as we know about CT, the economy is so much tougher. If you make mistakes and you make the job a lot harder for yourself, you sometimes just run out of rounds when you get into the second half. But that was a fun one. I feel like I'm a little rusty even after a couple of weeks off, and we'll be looking forward to getting back into the action, and good to see some Vertigo as well. This has been Crossy. If you want to catch any action from me, I'm going to be fairly active throughout ESCA Season 37, and got a few other exciting projects on the go as well. And that is going to be with a few orgs that I work with. Hopefully I'll be able to get on the MetriX channel a little bit more again, and on my own channel as well. So the best place to follow me is on Twitter at mcrossy12, and I will update you there on any action that I am covering, either on my own channel here or elsewhere. And there'll be plenty of good quality Counter-Strike, and probably some not so good quality Counter-Strike on display as well. But it would be great if you guys could hang out and catch some of that. But from me, thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back with some more action here on the MetriX Esports YouTube channel very soon. Thank you very much.